Well, hi, you guys. My name is Megan Lee Joy. I am a positivity producer and the producer of Empathy Workouts. So today we get to jump into our original gameplay, the OG of gameplays. And so let's go over the rules real quick. We'll be playing the Curiosity Edition, the white box that I don't have in front of me. Yes, I do, for those of you that own it. And we will need 3 volunteers to start. So if you can figure out the hand raise tool when the slides are up, please raise your hand. You can go to reactions on the bottom of Zoom and click the little smiley face and then click raise hand. And if it is not there, it should be under the participants. So if you click participants, see everyone, list of names, at the very bottom there should be a tool to raise your hand. And so once 3 people are chosen, I will speak the question. You each get to answer vulnerably, and then we will take a poll and get to decide if we go up a level or not, which I invite that we should each time. All right, you guys. Who are my participants? 3 people. Oh, we got Dewey. Awesome. Carissa, beautiful. Unmas. All right, Veronica. Beautiful. All right. Let's see. I wish I could share blank with humankind. When you feel ready to answer, please unmute yourself and share with us.
I guess I can go first. So the first thing that came to mind was basically generally like a perspective or an attitude like that. I think that it would be beneficial if most people understood, which I think that probably all of you in this thing understand, but just kind of that you control your own view of everything. You control your attitude towards things, and just having a positive attitude towards certain things or not feeling woe is me would just help a lot of people to kind of come out of their headspace that's keeping them sad or just like not being as happy as they possibly could be. So yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that.
That's beautiful. Thank you. All right, who wants to jump in next?
I think what I would share if I could would be the collective potential if we could all work together positively and disregard some of the surface things about us and realize how much incredible stuff we could do when we work together for the right reasons.
Absolutely, that would be a dream.
Um, I wish I could share that authentic connection with humankind, which I feel is right now is a struggle, which is why I show up here and actually not even in with the current conditions. I think even before that and in general, it's hard to say, "Hi, how are you?" and you don't even hear it and you just answer fine. It's nice to actually have real conversations with people.
We're here for it. All right, you guys, thank you so much for sharing. And now we all get to vote on if we go up a level or we stay. Let's bring this up. So we were on the blue level, and if we go up a level, it will be green.
I seriously love this polling, by the way. It's so hot.
So hot right now. All right, we're feeling the green level. And we will need 3 more participants. Oh, it's getting pretty close. Oh no. Okay, I'm officially closing the polls. We are going up to the green level. We need 3 new participants. All right, Donna. Thank you. Dos más. Green's not that scary. Oh yeah, Michael and Sid. Okay, what will the universe choose for us? All right. What is the difference between appreciation and appropriation? Think about it, feel into it, and when you feel ready, speak what's on your heart.
Okay. Appreciation and yeah, Veronica, sometimes I don't know either because I don't want to be evil or like an asshole and like misappropriate and stuff. So this is a hard question for me. I grew up appreciating a lot of different cultures. Grew up one culture specifically because I can speak to that one is like Punjabi culture, Desi culture. I grew up wearing like saris and listening to like Bollywood music and classical Indian music because that's just a part of like my heritage. And sometimes I would wonder growing up. See, I'm getting nervous. I would wonder if because is the way that I connect to it, and because I'm not technically Desi or Punjabi, am I allowed to do it? I think the difference for me in terms of appropriating and appreciation, having that experience is knowing that I'm not trying to steal it to make a buck. I'm not trying to take it to, for some sort of like financial gain. I'm not trying to like bastardize it. And it's not even about emulating anything. It's just about enjoying the culture as it is and allowing people to bring me into it. I think also because I was brought more into it, that it gave me more room to have more appreciation. I don't walk around with bindi on my head all the time, like that's for religious purposes. And that's also, you put that on during a certain time, during certain times of the year for certain celebrations. I think the more you can understand the culture and the more you can truly understand the workings of why things are, the less you're appropriating. Yeah, the less financial gain, more I'm trying to be here for the people. Okay.
I love that, Sid. That's very similar to where I fell, where you have to have the education to have the appreciation. Yeah, that supported me a lot. Thank you.
Well, now this was, I'm going to be very vulnerable here because I think I had to really think about that word appropriation and what it may mean in what context. And I confess I kind of looked up something here to educate myself so I could really, give a deeper meaning. And I think, but what my heart went to first when I heard the question was, I think appreciation for me, more and more, appreciation it's getting in the same swim lane as empathy, because I think for me, true appreciation, and when I use that word, and I don't use it lightly, like if I use it in an email back to someone, what I mean is that I can put myself in your shoes and think about what it took for the time, the talent, whatever it took for you to do something. And I can imagine that. And I feel so honored by it. And I'm so grateful for it. Like there's a connection there. And appropriation seems more superficial, perhaps. Maybe I don't know, there could be that connection. But I'm wondering, is it really, because if you're truly connected, do you need to appropriate? Maybe, I don't know. If it is about who you are and it's a self-expression of who you are and it's a true connection, then I say, great, go for it. So maybe appropriation is more on the personal level of your identity, and appreciation's more the connection also. For me, no rights or wrong here, right? And I love this question because you've made me really think about this. I want to explore it some more.
I love it. So many things coming up for us. That's great. I immediately thought of Coachella, which I think is the first thing anyone thinks of when you hear appropriation, because it is that superficial connection for, I'm just going to say, style. And I think maybe people think that it's a accurate representation of their soul, but they're not doing the education. And this is me blanket statementing and judging, but like this is my experience of certain people. But I love what you said about, if it is an authentic expression of you and you've done the education and you feel connected and it truly represents you, I can't argue with that. I mean, that's you being authentic. So, but it has that respect. I think that's for me. I love that you said that. Oh, so many things. Thank you, Donna.
I guess it's my turn. So first of all, I realize I'm not often on the other side of these questions. And so I had a lot of fear come up, even just preparing to answer. I feel really connected to both Sid and Donna's answer. And I think often when I answer this question, I don't slow down and actually like feel into my body. And I actually answer it on a superficial level, in which almost as though I get a pass um, uh, for like the difficulty of talking about appreciation and appropriation because I'm Black. But as I slow down into it and like the gratitude I have for Mikola sharing and the work that she's doing to support the LGBTQ plus community, and even I guess a few of the themes that we've explored this Black History Month, and then for Valentine's Day, is just really pushing myself to find the areas where I am a little blind, or where I am privileged, or where I am a little more safe than others, where I don't push myself to do that more, especially as we try to advocate and model vulnerability. So when I think of appreciation versus appropriation, I think of like slowing down and being really conscious about the dynamics that are at play. Who say for or even as I'm entering a situation or a discussion, like what's my intent, and am I really showing up as vulnerable as I can be and to learn, or am I hiding behind my own disadvantage that I too have work to do. So I think showing up in a shallow way to conversations around topics that maybe show my privilege. I think that for me falls into the appropriation realm if I'm pushing myself.
That's beautiful, Michael. I love that insight. I can personally use it in all aspects of my life. Where am I showing up superficially, and where do I get to be more present? Thank you. Real quick, I want to read some of what's been happening in the chat because it's amazing. Dewey said, appreciating means respecting that it belongs to someone else. Appropriation means acting like you own it. And Carolyn saying that she resonates with Sid and also feels like you have to listen to the community of the culture you're appreciating or appropriating. If the folks call you out for the way you appreciate, there's probably something to it. Again, back to the respect. Yes, and Lorraine saying appropriation can come if certain aspects of a cultural becomes trendy. Absolutely. Chrissy saying about what Sid said, potentially having an element of taking something for financial gain. Absolutely. Beautiful. What do we have, Veronica? I'm just seeing yours. As a first generation Canadian, it's hard to identify with your Filipino ex-culture because of colorism within the community, because you were born in North America and have a disconnect. Grew up in a time when your immigrant family thought it was safer and you'd have more opportunity to assimilate as much as possible. Absolutely. Oh, so interesting. So you often feel like you're appropriating your own culture. Thank you for sharing that. All right, you guys, this is a juicy Sunday. Really enjoying it. Okay, we're moving spotlights and we're bringing polls up. Let's get next level. All right, we can go down a level back to blue. We can stay at green, or we can go up to yellow. The poll is launched. Ooh, the battle continues. All right. It's looking like we're staying at green. Okay, that's what it is. So we need 2 more volunteers. Ooh, that was like the closest poll we've ever had. 3 volunteers. I'm not in it. 3 whole volunteers. You guys can do it. All right, qualms. Yes. Okay, add spotlight qualms. Laura, got you. Lorraine, got you. Okay, let's see if I took that question out. Bam. Okay. Ooh. What cultural or moral value do you hold in high regard and why? Take a moment, feel into it. Maybe think about like the second or third thing you want to share.
So I'm unmuted. I'm actually, so I'm gonna go with the first thing I wanted to share.
Great.
Because I guess I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm doing like a story circle later, so I've been thinking. I am really connected to this idea of music, particularly R&B music, and like from the '60s and the '70s and Motown music, because I'm originally from Baltimore. I'm living in New York, and but growing up, and I guess I don't know if it's a thing just for Baltimore, but like uh, growing up, music was played a lot in my household. And like the women that I connect with, like my aunt and my that I'm really closest to, and my mother, like they would play, music from the '60s and that kind of Motown style and that kind of stuff. And it feels like, and I connect to it to a deeper level than like, I like a lot of different music styles, but I connect to it because it just, whenever I hear that music, and I also was around a lot of like older adults who are now probably in their 50s and 60s, I just feel so taken. Like there's just this connection, this way I can't really describe it. And I just feel so comfortable. Um, and so and I was thinking this last few days, oh, will I leave New York and go to, Connecticut and places, and I started thinking like, where would I get the things that I need? Like, what music could I listen to? Where are the queer clubs? It's like they're just things, and like music just like makes me feel so at home, and I so connect to it and that kind of sound of music, and I feel like it makes me just really connect to a Black identity or that I have. And I kind of refute this notion when sometimes people say, well, Black culture is this. I was like, no, there's been so many cultures of Blackness, and it's wonderful. And just like, I don't know, art, like classic R&B music just makes me feel just so like at home. And so, yeah, I just really connect to it. And I guess I never thought about it that way, but like when I need like to decompress from like a bad day, like I'm listening to a particular WBLS because I like the music that's playing. And I was born in the '80s, like the late '80s. So it's not even music of, but it's like, I'm just so like, it just makes me, I don't know, so feel so at home, and it grounds me and like in ways that other styles of art and music does not. And I think I've talked a lot, but thank you.
Lorraine, I love that. Just as a reminder with how powerful music is in general, but the fact that we absolutely can connect it to different cultural values and points in our life to really support us. Thanks. All right, who's next?
It's interesting, the kind of segueing from Lorraine, what you shared. One of the things that I grew up with was kind of prayer and music being part of my like cultural upbringing in a language that I didn't speak or understand. So there's kind of a mixed relationship with wanting to, like, there's this, cultural value of like, my heritage of Judaism, of the traditions and the melodies and the songs that were sung and shared, and that kind of connection to, the past and history and ancestors and traditions and things and values that, the goal is to embody and bring forward. But then finding myself like really questioning the meaning of something that I couldn't understand, and how that could be something I could truly participate in. And so I think for me that kind of sparked, and I think this is probably also an important value that I was able to kind of glean both from my own experience and learning from those around me, was like the idea of questioning. and the idea of debate and or the cultural experience and value of debate, and the role of asking questions in carrying forth any like value or tradition.
That's beautiful, Laura. Thank you for sharing your experience. That aligns directly with a comment in the chat that said music was the oral tradition 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
I love that vibe. Thank you for sharing that, Dewey, in the chat. Qualms.
So when I first read the question, the first thing that came to me was respect. But more specifically, I feel like respect for family. And when I say respect, I guess it's more so a family, the understanding and appreciation for family unit. Um, I saw my grandparents, well, they lived in the US, but eventually when they wanted to die, I grew up in Ghana. When they got really old, they came back home, kind of wanted to die where they were born. And I didn't understand why like they would want to do that or what that connection was. But growing up, I realized coming from a country like Ghana how important a family unit is and how there's no place like home. And coming to the US, I watched a movie on Netflix recently. I Carol. It was about this woman, this lady that had a scam. Megan, I think you've seen that movie.
I just watched
Yeah,
it.
but it's a good movie. It's a good movie. But it really highlighted how the elderly people here are treated and how like there's a lack of concern for the greater family unit within the US. And within the world in general, I guess people are more self-centered than grand-centered, but we're not islands. We're all part of a greater unit, the family unit. So I think that's something I'd like to share, something I hold important, the family unit.
That's beautiful, Qualms. Thank you. The respect and the family unit and holding it together even through old age. I agree. It's something the culture of the United States could do a lot better. Beautiful. All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to ask Michael if we have time for one more round or if we should go into announcements and then like a happy hour.
Yeah, just announcements and close out.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
let's do it.
Wonderful leadership, Megan Joy.
All
Everyone,
right.
Megan Joy, a round of applause. Taking the reins on the empathy workout section for the first time.